We've been waiting for you for so long.
Welcome back to Visited by Voices Live. We are going to stall for some time is what we're going to do for a little while here.
It was my fault I was putting on my face. It's still not completely on. It's just starting to peel at the edges, so I have to dash away.
So MJ is slightly delayed, I believe, so we're going to have him join us as soon as possible. In the meantime, we're going to chat and we're going to take any questions out there from you guys. I might show you a few things that I picked up just recently, one of which is so exciting it's ridiculous. But Sam, how are you this evening?
I'm sick, kind of, because I think either I have allergies acting up, which is weird in the middle of summer, but it's Texas, so it's could be anything, or my immune system finally decided to just crap out because the last week has been kind of stressful because we've been trying to adopt a kitten and dashing here and there and other places, and still gotta get Knight's rabies vaccination up to date before we can complete the adoption process. So it is what it is. And then it's like my mom keeps asking me the same questions over and over and over. Like, where did your friend find the kitten? And I'm like, Laundry found it online. She saw a posting. And I see you in the chat there, Laundry.
There you go.
Yeah, but no, so we've been working through that, and then because it's like my mom's older and she's really starting to go, like she's biting off into the sunset right now, and you know she would ask me probably every 5 minutes, when are you guys bringing the kitten home? When are you bringing the kitten home? When are you bringing the kitten home? And it's like, holy crap, lady, give me a break, please.
You just need to tell her that you're building your family back better.
I'm not saying that unironically. How dare you?
It's that kind of a day. So it's been a cooler day here up in Jersey. No rain, which is usually how we get cooler during summer. So it was actually kind of a nice day. So that's an unusual thing for me to say during this time of the year anyway.
We've been sitting in a fart bubble of humidity, and I'm just waiting for it to burst. Because it's oppressive outside. It is like seriously, I'm getting physically abused by the heat anytime I try to go outside to have a cigarette. Holy fuck. I mean, I know it's Texas and I'm used to this. I've lived here since I was 6, but Jesus. Oh, before I shit on the weather anymore, we should shit on something that's actually horror related. All right, who saw the Karen trailer? Who saw the trailer for Karen? Lauren, I know you watched it. Stop laughing.
Laughing? No.
Cry laughing?
It was depression fuel is what it was. Because
why?
Because I feel like I'm going to be forced by community standards to have to watch that thing.
Yeah, we're all going to make you watch it. Like, you're forced to have an opinion on this because I know that I'm going to go see it because it looks terrible. If there's a movie that looks bad, I'm going to fucking watch it.
You see, I find myself enjoying bad movies in the genre less as I get older, which is obviously a very bad thing because it means I'm going to run out of movies at a certain point that I can enjoy it. But yeah, it's getting harder for me. And I look at a trailer for something like that, or like Freaky was, or like Black Christmas, and there's not even the part of me that says, I'm curious. Nah, it's just, let's not do that ever. And ladies and gentlemen, the gentleman you came here to see, MJ, how are you, sir?
Hey.
All right. How's it going?
It's going well.
We were fine until Sam mentioned Karen.
Okay, sorry about that, guys. I was running a little bit behind.
That's all right. You're here now.
All right.
So how are you?
All right. Little busy day. Just got back about 30 minutes ago from the Air Museum out here in Desert Springs, California. Hot Springs, California.
That sounds intense. Is this something you've done before?
Yes, I've been to different air museums. So this one in particular, I wanted to go check out. It had some particular airplanes that I was monumental that I was very particular in. So I had to come all the way out to a long drive for this one right here, particularly.
So is aviation a big passion of yours?
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah, yeah, you could say that.
Do you pilot?
No, I'm not a pilot. I'm just a huge fan of a lot of like old things, especially the military things, etc., like that. Like I go to different certain type of museums, like the certain monumental museums, the historical museums, and I like to go to the a lot of different air-based museums.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I think the last one I went to was Barksdale, and when I was in Louisiana for our family reunion, this was a few years back, and they had some fantastic aircraft up there. But also they had a really cool area of the museum where it was just different propaganda that you would see from the wars. So it was like, that was fascinating.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
It always seems to me the best artists work in propaganda. It's just bizarre. All this stuff is so iconic and wonderful, and it's completely abusive of the human spirit, but who cares because it's beautiful.
Yes, yes, definitely. I wanted to actually get some footage of everything, but it was at the last minute, and then they said that I can actually come back another time, and I can actually do the vlog. So that I wanted to actually share with you guys like some of the footage of me being up there.
Awesome.
Super awesome.
Yeah, we got to make that happen. That's got to be incredible.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
And so I before we go any further, I just want to ask you the question I ask everyone, because I think this is kind of a staple of the show that everyone enjoys. How'd you originally get bitten by the horror bug, man?
Whoa. With me, I guess you could say, yeah, I've been a fan of the horror since I can even remember. It's been a childhood thing. I remember being in foster homes, and I believe one of the first ones, even before Halloween, it was actually some of the old school films, like maybe in the 70s. For instance, like The Brew with Samantha Eggy in it. Also with the other movie she was in with The Curtains. So there were a couple of my first films that I actually saw. And I was so attached with it. Out of all of different type of other films, it's just that particular genre stuck with me the most. And I'm just a huge fan of it. I can watch anything. Some people would say like, oh, how can you do that? I have to be in like pitch black dark. I don't like dark or lights to be on when I'm watching horror. It just takes something out of it. And I was doing this as a kid, so it just kept going and going.
That's so awesome. It's fascinating to me that your first two experiences that you remember are Canadian films in both cases. So you've been around the community for a while, but you've kind of just stuck your hand up in the air for notice recently. So what was that decision about?
It pretty much because I was handling multiple different YouTube channels. And I just decided to focus all my energy on, as far as YouTube, on basically what I'm interested in, what my passion is for. And seeing how I'm a writer, I've been writing since I was a kid. So I was like, I want to focus everything and even YouTube on that. And I was like thinking about, I want to change to something that I like talking about and something I would be passionate, so I can be basically continuous with it and keep being relevant with the YouTube. So I was like, well, let me do the movie things and talk about the stuff that I like to watch and everything. And then I just started seeing a lot of you guys that already had your channels and everything. And then I was like, okay, well, I see I'm not the only one that have this going, so I'll continue to go with this. So it was a kind of way for me to kind of also connect it to my podcast, because I had just started a podcast as well. In the podcast, I like to talk about actually movies and actors and actresses, but I also like to talk about certain particular authors or even upcoming authors. So that's what it was basically for me.
Well, we're certainly running in similar circles, aren't we? So first of all, I want to say it's just great to have people who really obviously love the genre speak up and have their voices heard, because the one thing I really hate, and that's a strong word, but I'm going to use it, about the community at its worst, not our community, but the wider horror community, is how homogenous it can be. It can be like everyone is supporting the same opinions and coming from the same mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And we have nothing to talk about if that's the case, right? So I think the more people we have out there speaking up, making themselves heard, not being afraid of their opinion being unpopular, that's all just golden to me. So I think I've seen enough of your work so far to tell you that I think you're going to fit in just fine.
Thanks.
Good, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was a little skeptical at first about it because I was like, okay, would people really want to hear us sitting here and talking about movies or talking about this? And I was like, no, I did my research. So I think it would be something that could actually, like you guys said, could be something big. Just kind of stick with it and I didn't want to, when I started doing my research, I kind of didn't want to imitate other people as far as their vibe. I wanted to make sure that I'm just have my own uniqueness. So sometimes people see with my videos, my little passion or my tone is a little different. It's just that depending on what particular subject and matter that I'm talking about.
You know what I really liked was that one video you did when you were talking about dumb things that people do in horror movies. And it was the one that was tied for 1 and 2. It was like when people forget how to run. Not that but they forget how to run, because I've had that thought so many times that it's like, oh my God, somebody actually is on the same track. Same thing with your Wonder Woman 84 review, and you were like, what is this?
Yeah, well, what is that?
Killed me. I was like, fucking A.
To be completely fair, Sam also criticizes Franklin and Texas Chainsaw Massacre for forgetting how to run, and that's not fair.
Did I? I don't know. I might have been drunk. I've reviewed that movie. I just don't remember it. I swear.
So we were talking before you joined us. I just wanted to quickly go over a few things that I picked up over the last couple days, actually. First off, my copy of Never Hike in the Snow came finally. I launched up the fan film. And tell me this, though. Love you guys, but this is the cover art they went with, right? But look on the disc what they do. Tell me that's not what the cover should be.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely.
Now it just makes me want to watch Friday the 13th, though. So maybe there's a reason.
It's a Friday fan film, so what are you going to do?
Oh, my bad. That I didn't know. I was just thinking, like, the outside of the cover. I was like, what is that weird splotch that looks like the inside of my underwear?
Oh. I always seem to catch you at the right time.
I know. You're all welcome.
But the bigger thing, the thing that I find really incredible is I got a hold of the Japanese release of Biozombie on Blue.
Nice.
And this is a film that I've loved since it came out. It is the best zombie comedy ever made. To me, it's way better than Shaun of the Dead. Not even in the ballpark. But it's a film that there's never been a great looking copy of. It did make it onto DVD, but VCDs is how most people saw it. The DVD, even from Media Blasters, looks pretty much like garbage. But the film is so great, you kind of forgive it. To see this film in 1080p, clear as day, I was nearly in tears. But on top of that, they did the most amazing thing, which is they kept the bad subtitles from the VCD. So it still is awkward and weird, which is how I love it. Hard disc to come by. I want to just quickly do a shout out to where you can get it if you're interested in checking this movie out. You can find the DVDs and the VCDs out there probably pretty cheaply, but if you want to buy the Blu-ray, neofilmshop.com. It's an incredible gentleman named Andrew Chan who runs it. Does an import-export business on movies. And he was cool enough in his little letter he sent to me for ordering it to include an entire different movie I did not order and have no idea what is, just for ordering. So definitely if you're in the business, if you're in the market for especially Asian imports that are not available in America, neofilmshop.com would be to go.
Okay. I'm checking it out right now. It looks super cool.
Expensive, but these things are just unavailable. I just noticed he has a Blu-ray of three Days in the Life of a Blind Girl, which is another one of those nasty VCD titles that I just love. So I'll be buying that from him too.
Well, I mean, I've spent $30 on a CD that was imported, and it was totally worth it. So these prices don't really scare me that much.
Oh, there's a few that scare me, but thankfully I'm not going to drop the dime on anything that expensive. So MJ, speaking of physical media, are you a collector or are you a streamer or?
Pretty much both. I'm a collector. I collect different type of Of course, movies as well. I have my own collection. I have also different antiques that I like to get. About 2 weeks ago, I had just got one of the, which I've been trying to find for a while, but Samantha Eggy from that movie, Curtains. I actually got the mask. I was waiting for it, looking for it. I couldn't find it, but I finally was able to get my hands on it, and I thought that was just awesome to add to my collection.
The hag mask from the skating scene?
Yes.
Wow. That's
yes.
amazing, man. That's amazing.
I know, right, dude?
That film is, I mean, it's bonkers, but that film is amazing. I love the fact at the end of that film, as the big final girl chase sequence, there's a point where like literally an exit sign lights her way. Amazing.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I have a different lot of stuff I have in my collection. I say it proudly, but sort of what they would say with in the Geek Squad, but I say that proudly. I like the Comic Cons. I'm a fan of all that type of stuff, like collections of still even, I know people would say really, but even certain the Power Ranger collectibles. I have stuff like that. I just like to collect things like that. This thing to me is something like special that take from the 90s and in the 80s.
Totally agree, 100%. I love any kind of memorabilia that had some, was something special, something I grew up with or something that I got into later on. Just having like a little piece sitting on your shelf is like, ooh, I have that.
Oh yeah. I would like to share with you guys, but I will be as soon as I get it. I ordered it. I have the whole collection of the Goosebumps books. I was a fan of that too, so that whole collection is going to be shipping to me soon. So I'm waiting on that, and I'm going to start sharing that with you guys too.
Okay, so MJ, for real though, have you seen some of the prices on like Fear Street books?
Yeah.
Are you building your portfolio? Are you starting with Goosebumps and then working your way to Fear Street? Because you could flip those pretty easily, I think.
No, actually, I can not just, it don't have to be Goosebumps. I actually mix it up like that.
Nice. Did you read any Christopher Pike growing up by any chance? Because I remember reading R.L. Stine's Fear Street and a little bit of Pike.
I haven't seen that one yet. I haven't got a chance to get around to that one.
Right on. That's cool. Did you read any horror growing up, though?
Yes, a lot of different horror books. That's what actually got me started, was actually reading the horror books. It's like some of these movies where they would say the movies. It kills me with sometimes when people say, "Oh, well, I didn't understand the movie. I didn't understand the movie." And I'm like, but the book basically told you guys what the movie was kind of about already. So I'm confused.
You got any favorites as far as books go?
Oh, that's a hard choice. Because I read a lot. That's a hard choice. If I had to pick one.
How about just like top three?
Top three.
Your can always change. Wait, that's why I don't have kids. Never mind. Scratch that. I mean, your favorites can always change.
Yes. Where I guess I'm allowed to put the Stephen King's books in there. I think I would have to say Stephen King. I would actually put in my top rank. It would have to be some of his older work.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't read The Stand, but I really want to, since, honestly, I'm totally ignorant of The Stand. I've read it, and that thing is a chonk. But it's really impressive, the fact that he built up the entire history of Derry and literally everything that happened in it. And I think, that book gets a bad rap for, obviously, the child orgy. And here comes Lorne walking in at the wrong moment. But, I think that it is amazing in the way it's constructed, because so much had to go into building that world. Like, that's a course on world building all by itself.
Yes. Well, to be honest, I would have chose that and said that off the back, but I didn't want to be biased, because most people that do follow me, they know that when I talk about the greatest of all time horror movies, arguably debatable, I would put it as my number one between that top three, but probably the number one spot. So I didn't want to just say that, because most people expect me to say it, but I would have to say that probably will be my number one novel book right there, will be the It.
It's kind of hard to compete with, because it's like 5 books long. So good, though.
Not a fan.
You're just fangirling over Stephen King, which is weird. I usually don't fangirl, but...
Yeah, usually you're pretty harsh towards King, but...
I'll let it pass when it comes to It. I can't deny that one.
Jess Graham wants to know what MJ's favorite Stephen King stories and books are. I think we kind of just covered that, but let's go a little wider.
Let's see. There's so many Stephen King's books. Let me see. We can go into, of course, we have the one where they just did the remake of the original film of The Shining. That would be one of the books that I like.
Oh yeah, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I am excited to listen to your commentary on Doctor Sleep because I've read the book and seen the movie, and I think they're both really good. So I'm super excited. Anybody that's out there should definitely just like check out MJ's channel if you're just for that, because I know it's going to be good. I'm just excited. So I'll stop now.
No problem. Stephen King. Wow, there's just so many books of his. I know I'm kind of like just kind of empty void right now because there's so many books by Stephen King that I read. But as like I said, that's my favorite one. Then you got also The Shining. I can't even. I'm sorry. I just can't even name them right now because I'm already thinking of other books by other authors that I want to actually name right now.
Well, I wouldn't have a problem with you moving on to other authors.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't want to be rude to him, though, but like, trust me, yeah, there is a lot of different works by Stephen King. I like. He's one of my favorite composers. But I'm a huge fan of also, which I don't hear a lot of people speak of, but Ray Bradbury. I like a lot of Ray Bradbury work. What he has done. He's done an amazing, phenomenal job.
Amazing writer.
I like how a lot of what people don't know, a lot of it when he had the Ray Bradbury Theater. For some people that do know, I'm pretty sure you guys are aware that some of his episodes were actually from this short stories that he were doing. So he was turning his short stories into actual like the teleplay episodes, and I just thought that was amazing. Actually, it's so thick. It's the big red one. It's available on Amazon. It's full of Ray Bradbury's full of his short stories. It's just so thick.
Yeah,
one of my top favorite short stories of Ray Bradbury, and that one is the While the Whole Town is Sleeping. I love that short story. It has that little cool vibe to it. You guys remember it was actually an episode on the Ray Bradbury Theater as well. But they changed the name a little bit. They switched the name. They didn't give it the actual name from the short story.
I love Bradbury. Halloween Tree is stone cold. Like every 3 years read for me. About how do you feel about Richard Matheson from the same period?
I like him. Cool.
Dan has a question for you. What is your favorite zombie movie, MJ?
Automatically, I can answer this straight up. I know there's a lot of different zombie movies, but if I had to say, I'm kind of got to be biased, but I would have to say Resident Evil. Only because which one? That was a good one, Sam. That was a good one. Oh man, I want to go with the original, but I will say that there was another one that was actually just as good as the first film. That one is hard. I'm just gonna go say with the first film because that one is hard because there's a couple of Resident Evil films that were actually very, very good.
Yeah, I mean, I talk about Afterlife on here too much, I think, but I think the second Resident Evil movie doesn't. I think that one could just deserves more love. We kind of just it's sort of like I think Apocalypse wasn't that great for me, but I like the second one. I like Afterlife, which I think is the fourth one, a lot. So maybe it's just the even numbered Resident Evils for me.
Yeah, I think with me it was either the last one or the one before the last one. I wasn't really too fond of it. It was the one where where the brothers where the brother and sister had eventually met, where the brother was being locked up, where she had to come to that big tower where the people had themselves in. That one, it was cool, but I wasn't all the way too fond of the complete storyline of it.
Yeah, I think that was Afterlife. That was it felt like two short movies kind of put together, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. How in the hell did we not get that Resident Evil Underworld crossover film?
That would have been awesome. That would have been awesome.
I mean, come on. It writes itself. Just like I want a Tron Matrix crossover film, because that's how I think of the world.
I'd be fine with that.
It'd be better than what they're doing with either thing. So.
Wow, I had no idea there were 6 Resident Evil movies.
I know I haven't seen the very last one. I kind of lost the thread at a certain point, and it's hard to get me back on because I'm not rewatching them all to get back where I was. I remember being in the theater, and I saw the first film, in a pretty rundown urban theater in Jersey. Which you have to understand, those communities are the best place to see horror films. Period. Because if you want people screaming at the screen and actually enhancing the experience, not being annoying, like literally, they're just so into it, they're not going to be quiet. You need to go see a film in Patterson, go see a film in Rutherford. You need an audience that's engaged. And I remember when the lasers wiped out everyone, basically in the middle of the movie, one guy screams at the top of his lungs, "Well, who the fuck are the zombies gonna eat?"
Dude, I thought you were talking about the lasers wiping out the audience at first.
Oh no!
I was like, what?
There's a scene in the
What are you
hallway where
going
these
through?
lasers appear and they just like wipe out the whole team.
Yeah.
And I think everyone was thinking the same thing, like, "Oh, we came for a zombie movie. What's this?" But this one guy made the night. And I've said it before, but the only way I watch Freddy vs. Jason is off my bootleg that was filmed in the Bronx, in a theater.
That's that seems correct.
Because it's like the whole boxing match atmosphere is actually there because people are screaming for their side. You can hear like verbal fights breaking out. I mean, it's amazing. It's the best way to watch that movie.
Oh,
Dan is mentioning that the CW is launching their Resident Evil television series, and he's not holding out a lot of hope based on the cast. I didn't read that article.
I know that the quartering has some words about it, but I mean, I think the general consensus is it looks like Riverdale, but it's Resident Evil. So take that with, I mean, then, we're getting all of these TV series about horror franchises. We've had Scream, there's Teen Wolf. For some reason, The Purge had a TV series. Exorcist had a TV series.
Mm-hmm.
Holy crap. Now that I'm actually thinking about it, it's all this is a little much.
And yet we have not gotten our Omen sitcom yet.
Yeah, that's true.
What
would you title that?
I would just call it The Omen. Let people figure it out when they get there, because you have like Damien's tutor trying to teach him math and he gets upset.
Yeah.
That
you have to think that they'd go through a lot of tutors that way.
I think that could be a running joke, like Drummers and Spinal Tap.
Or
like a different tutor every episode.
It'd be like the running joke on Fresh Prince. Every time DJ Jazzy Jeff gets thrown out the house, you just see like a tutor going, "Ah!"
It's just like every appliance in the house has killed a tutor at some point.
Yeah.
I'm missing a question here. Jess asks, what is MJ's favorite slasher icon / series?
Oh, hands down for me, definitely, because that was my favorite one out of all. I would have to put, of course, number one would be Halloween. Halloween is my favorite all time. It's just my favorite horror series completely. Except for I still liked it, but was it Halloween 3? I just did not completely agree with how the direction they went with Halloween 3. I think, like I said, it could have been its own series. So the production company that put out Halloween, they could have had 2 possible separate series if they would have just had the whole Halloween mask thing, their own little series, and that would have been phenomenal. But only because it didn't have Michael Myers in it and everything, and just kind of like, what was the purpose of it? It was an okay movie. Other than that, all of the Halloween films I liked all of them, except for the one by Rob Zombie version. I just didn't like. I did not like that one. Other than Halloween, I know a lot of people I'm going to actually do a live stream about it eventually. I know a lot of people are very like how they look at it when it's comparison to the 90s. I would still say, to me, out of Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer, I would say I Know What You Did Last Summer would be my second favorite slasher film. I just think the backstory and everything. So I Know What You Did Last Summer with Jennifer Love Hewitt was better than Scream. But I do love Scream, though. I love the Scream franchise.
I agree with everything you just said. I agree with everything you just said until you said you love Scream. I think I know what you did last summer is way superior to Scream. Scream just has a great opening scene, and then it becomes like an after-school special with an occasional murder. I get so bored with it.
Can we just all agree to disagree? Because it's like I feel like the Scream versus I Know What You Did Last Summer is trying to compare like Jokers. Like it's trying to compare Jack Nicholson Joker to Heath Ledger Joker, and it's like, can we like both? Let's just like both.
But I don't like both.
Yeah.
But you see, it's even worse because I'm a bigger fan of I Still Know than any of them.
What the fuck is wrong with you, Lauren?
Because there's everything wrong. Like there's not a scene in that film that there's not something wrong with. But it's endearing. It's endearing, man. It's like the slashers wanted to be these like Gap commercial looking smooth things, and it went so far in that direction that it becomes self-parody without the jokes.
No.
It's hilariously bad.
I forgot there's a third I Know What You Did Last Summer movie.
I've never seen that.
I blocked it out of my head and it came back.
Oh, no.
Oh yeah, that was just trash. That was
Always Know What You Did Last Summer.
Oh no.
And then that director went on to direct Slender Man. It explains a lot. Fuck. Oh, that's gonna haunt me now.
Ben Grimm says there was a Damien series on AMC.
He's
but
right.
it's not gonna be my Damien series though.
No. Jesus.
And Dan is taking a contrary position. He says that he didn't like I Still Know. I Still Know is horrible. It's wonderful. It's my friend. Because crap just happens.
I just wish, but I think the problem is because of how we see the Scream franchise. We kept seeing multiple ones, and we still had the lead actress in it. But then with the I Still Know What You Did Last Summer series, the fact that, which I don't agree with that, how they tried to continue with that franchise without Jennifer Love Hewitt, and then the third segment was just trash. So I think to a certain kind of way, people are biased because they've been constantly seeing the Screams, but not I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. And I just think like that was the big downfall of it. If we would have kept seeing I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, could it be debatable that a lot of people would have been even-handedly with it? Because some people, when they say they didn't like I Don't Still Know What You Did Last Summer, I'm like, how could they not like it when it was an overall better backstory than Scream? Now, for me, Scream, I liked it because of some of the cast members that I actually were huge fans of outside of the Scream franchise. That's what I think that made the Scream franchise so big. But overall, when we're talking about a better story structure, I would have to give the thumbs up to I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, or I Know What You Did Last Summer franchise. But as I said, I do love Scream. Scream is a phenomenon. I love me some Dale Campbell too, but I'm sorry to say it. I know.
They need to kill off some of those characters that have been around for too many movies in that franchise.
I'm waiting for Sydney to be the killer. It's all I want.
Well, the Radio Silence guys making the new one gives me hope, though, because I love those guys, and I think that if there's a way to transform it into something unpredictable and cool and transformative, they'll be the ones, unless the studio just hammers them into a corner, which I guess could happen.
We'll see.
But I always felt like I Know What You Did Last Summer was like a producer was watching Scream, and then the moment Rose McGowan was on screen, they just paused the tape and said, "Make that movie."
Yeah, maybe. So we've got an interesting side conversation happening in the chat, and we have the Dark Horse Urban Legend, which I think, we that's definitely a contender in this match.
I don't like that movie either.
Oh, fucking hell, man.
I don't like that late 90s Gap commercial slasher movement.
I totally understand. I came of age during that time. I was, just turning into a teenager, so it's like I have a soft spot in my heart for all of those movies in some way. Even I didn't care for them.
I saw them all in the theater, but it annoyed me that they were going for a demographic that would care what the characters were wearing rather than whether they were in any danger. It was such overkill on the look of those films and the type of actors and actresses. I miss films where legitimately ugly people would get lead performances. The world would be better off with more Spinells and less Love Hewitts. That's the truth.
Yeah, I mean, I miss that too, but it's sort of like we're not going to get away from pretty people headlining movies anytime soon, especially horror movies, because, there are some forgettable horror movies that come out, and all the cast looks like they came out of the Gap or Abercrombie and Fitch or wherever the youths are going now to get their clothing. and it's just I watch it and it doesn't even make a new wrinkle in my brain. Just it slides right off of it.
Nah, it's like when you brush your teeth and then drink orange juice. I can't do it.
Oh. Looks like we got disturbing behavior has entered the ring as well.
Those.
What are your thoughts, MJ?
I mean, some of the movies that they're putting in there, like I said, that was an era of a time, the '90s, one of my favorite eras. It was cool. It was pretty decent. I had no problems. It wasn't one of my favorites, but I thought Disturbing Behavior, it was pretty cool. Just like Urban Legends now, I will agree, Urban Legends, when they start making the multiple films, I was like, okay, I don't understand this. The first one, I liked it, but when they start making the multiple versions of Urban Legends, I just didn't, I was like, where are you guys going with this?
I agree. I'm Urban Legend 1 and done, man. That's all I need.
Another one that was good also was with Matthew Lillard was my favorite appearance when I liked with Matthew Lillard. 13 Ghosts. I think that was why I love that movie, 13 Ghosts.
Yes. That movie's great. I love Matthew Lillard in it. He's, and it's one of my favorite Dark Castle movies, that and House on Haunted Hill. Him and Chris Kattan playing the horror nerd type. It's like, fucking finally. It's such an underused niche.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, disturbing behavior-wise, that movie can suck a dog's dick. Because my mother is obsessed with that movie. She watches it over and over and over as many times as she's watched The Thing and Ever After, and I can't. I mean, I love my mother, but oh my God, please stop. Like, she is obsessed with the song Flagpole Sitta. She is 67 years old. Somebody help me.
Oh, I feel your pain.
She's streaming this on the TV downstairs.
The Faculty is superior to disturbing behavior any day of the week.
Agree.
Even if it falls apart at the end, the last scene in the final in the pool room doesn't really make any sense. But the movie before that point is pretty freaking great. So there's my big glossy '90s favorite, I guess. If I had to pick one, it'd be The Faculty.
You said that with all the enthusiasm of Daria Morgendorffer.
Well, appropriately enough in the era, right?
Yes. Very true.
I just want to go around the table here. Steak versus Jess in a fist fight. This seems to be happening. Where do you put your $5? Who do you think is going to take this one?
Steak versus Jess, huh?
Steak is like 7 foot tall.
No, he isn't.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, yeah. Steak, how tall are you? Answer in the chat.
Ooh, loser shaves their beard. Well, Jess doesn't really have a.
Let's do Steak Doctor versus Dr. CZ Death, because then it'll be a fucking fair fight.
Yeah. Well.
I just volunteer my husband for this.
But did your husband actually attack Urban Legend or defend Urban Legend?
Oh fuck! I wasn't paying attention.
It's good that you weren't paying attention to your husband. just like every morning over coffee, I'm not listening.
I'm up like 4 hours before he is for coffee.
Yeah, well, coffee is your life.
Okay, so Steak is like 7 foot tall, so I'm guessing, yeah, okay. Yeah, that'll work. That's close enough.
So it's the battle of the juice boxes versus the titty bar. That's what's going on there.
Why is Jess shaving his scrotum?
Moving on.
This took a weird turn. I'm so sorry.
This is what happens when you pay too much attention to the chat.
I know.
So what about other media, MJ? We know you're a reader and you love film. Are you a fan of horror-themed comic books or music or anything like that?
A little bit of the music, of course. Well, as far as the music, certain movies, they have very monumental soundtracks on them that I'm actually a fan of. So with the music, I would say with the music, it depends. Like if it was from a horror film. You know how we have those certain movies where they have their soundtracks or certain songs where you just can't forget them? Those like that. Those are the ones that I would kind of fall in love with. But just in general, the music, I would say I listen to all type of music. I know it's surprising a lot of people, but literally every type of genre of music I listen to. Like I can't explain that one right there. Yeah.
That's just sanity, not listening to just one type of music. I've never been able to get into reggae. That's the one field that just blows my mind. I think it's all the voice inflection driving me absolutely insane because I'm not wired right. But everything else is something I am very passionate about. So yeah, man, if you're just listening to one type of music, get out of my life.
Exactly. Me is if it has some relevance and it's got some just uniqueness to it, I love it. It doesn't matter what it is.
The other day, Sam literally sent me a video from a white rapper, and I sent her an industrial grindcore video back. So that's our life.
I listen to more than that. I swear.
I know you do. I know you do.
I do have a question for you two. I have a quick question. Is the brand Visited by Voices, is it both of you guys or just one of you guys?
I kind of just showed up.
Oh, okay.
So, well, no, it's actually an interesting issue because I started the channel. The name had been with me. The Visited by Voices logo had been with me actually as a title of a short story collection that was published in 2014, I want to say, which it makes sense for a collection of short stories. But it was something that is my email address. It's been something that's been around with me for a long time. And then when I started the channel, because Piz had invited me to be on the Sausage Factory, the precursor to the Region Free Show, I decided to actually take a run at the YouTube thing. And it just made sense to call it Visited by Voices. And even in the beginning, I knew I wanted to have it be a vehicle to talk to other people. So my concept was it was going to be like you turn on the show, you were being visited by someone's point of view, their ideas, their voice. But then at a certain point, I realized that I'm not strong enough to do this alone. I'm better with someone to work off of. So I started searching for someone that made sense. I really didn't have I didn't have complete blinders on. I knew it had to be someone I could rap with, but I also wanted someone that was different from me so that there'd be something to talk about. Because you don't want someone who's the same person as you. And in just the course of things, I stumbled across the Sheebie Jeebies podcast, and I loved the fact that Sam had this very, very, very forward personality. And the passion was obvious, and I think it made sense. So I very quietly said, hey, you want to come and guest on the show? And the whole time it was just really an audition. She just didn't know it.
Oh, yeah, I had no idea. I was actually in the process of moving into my house, and it was like a 45-minute trip from my house to my old apartment. So it was just like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I keep missing these Twitter messages. So, yeah, I was like, I felt really bad because usually I'm better about responding to things. But yeah, and I was just laughing because Lauren, you were talking about two of you, and I was just picturing like a podcast with two Laurens, and it just made me crack up for some reason.
Oh, can you imagine? I'd be fighting with myself. It wouldn't take long.
But it would be like really like low key and kind of passive aggressive, but also rather respectful.
Well, yeah, that's
it would be very interesting to watch.
But there is a video that has that. When I did the autopsy series on the Exorcist films, because I didn't want to cover Dominion and the beginning separately, I covered them in one video, and I'm side by side.
Weird.
With the reviews. That. Yeah. If you go back, you can see it. It took forever, and no one cares.
I guess that'll satisfy my curiosity now.
Yeah, believe me, you'll never want it again. You'll be like, okay. One is definitely a better answer than two. But the other thing is, and I find this is something I wish was a little bit more prominent on YouTube and on the internet in general, is I didn't want this show to be about my ego. I have an ego. I think we all do. But I wanted the show to be something a little bit more. And the best way to do that is to put less of me in it. I'm always going to be who I am. I'm never going to cut the cheese, you know? It's always going to be what it is. It's going to be real.
You're not going to fart on the podcast?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
But I think that it's a better show with a variety of voices, and that includes a co-host, definitely. If the day comes when Sam's bored with it and wants to leave, then she'll go, you know, but she's staying as long as she wants to. And I don't know what happens then, because I haven't planned that far in advance.
I just like hanging out and talking horror movies, so it's, you know, this is like my unwind time, kind of, when I'm not playing my stupid cookie runner games.
What is a cookie runner game?
It's just an endless runner, but instead of a regular, you know, like say Mario, like instead of Mario, you have a cookie. Like a cute animated cookie.
MJ, have you ever
Back
played
to
a
horror
Cookie Runner
movies.
game?
What?
I'm sorry. Say that one more time.
MJ, have you ever played a Cookie Runner game?
Not yet. No.
You're fine. Don't worry about it. I was going to ask, have you played any of the Resident Evil games?
Yes, I've played actually. Yeah, I've played all of them. All of them. The one, not the recent one, the one that right before it with the Sawyer family. That one was the last one I've actually played. I think that movie could actually be turned into a film if they wanted to. That was just an amazing Resident Evil game. My favorite ones would be from the first original ones, Part 1 and Part 2 and Part 3. But pretty much all of them I played, though. I love the Resident Evil games. Love them, love them. I was actually playing the games before I was watching, of course, because the games were before the movie. So, but I was playing all the games and stuff, all of them. I played every single one except for the latest one that they had. I haven't got a chance to get around to it yet, but I do actually have it.
Is that Village?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. My husband's been playing that. I think he beat it. I don't know. I don't play. I'm really bad at playing video games on the screen. I can really do handheld or my phone. So it requires me to look at the TV. That's too much depth perception that I don't have. But when I do go by and he's playing it, it's like, ooh, that's really pretty. So I can tell you it's really pretty. That's about it. I'm very helpful as far as gaming tips go.
Dan would like to know if you've seen Censor yet, MJ.
No, I have not seen it yet. I have been seeing a lot of stuff right now trending about the Censor, but I have not got around to it. It's one of those that I actually am. It's already on my schedule. I'm going to get around to it. I also want to get around to the movie I know is trending. It has a significant message to it to me. The Infinity movie with Mark Wahlberg. I would like to check that out and see what it's about.
I have not heard of that, but I'm already intrigued.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be it's new, but it's very, you can tell it has a lot of hidden messages in it, and it pertains to reality as well. But I think it's going to be really, really, really good.
Okay.
I heard some people saying that it's available on one of the, I can't remember what, I think they said Prime. I'm not sure, but I haven't been able to find it yet. But I want to see it though. It looks pretty good from the trailer. If you check the trailer out, I think you guys will like it if you check the trailer out.
Oh, it has Jason Mantzoukas in it. I'm there.
And Dan is saying he's yet to find a way to watch Gaia, apparently. I just got back from the theater today, like right before the show, from Gaia. Gaia is a trip. It's definitely one of the better ones this year. And it's a film about being uncomfortable, which I love. Because the whole film is uncomfortable. There's not a funny moment in that movie. It's all dark, depressing, evil stuff, which of course is everything I search for in a horror film. And it's you know what? Here's this could be a small rant, I promise, just a small one. Thank God it's a fucking real R-rated film. You know what I mean? Like you see a film that has an R in it, and you realize they could show the damn thing on television, and you're like, what the hell? This film is an R-rated film. It's grotesque body horror. There's plentiful nudity. There's really uncomfortable situations. There's implied assaults of all kinds, including, well, I'll just say this. In many ways, the movie is like watching the tree assault from Evil Dead in extreme slow motion.
You're not convincing me to see this.
I really, really enjoyed it. But you got to like the real dark stuff, because if you don't, you're not going to get. Also, I was worried because I saw the trailer and I was like, is this going to be like one of these environmental preachy movies? Oh, it's not. No, you kind of come to the end and go, well, yeah, nature's kind of a bitch too.
Is it going to be like The Happening, where people just are
No.
Not that level of nature being a dick, and not like the plants being douchebags in the ruins.
No, because nature's worse dick in this because it's very hands-on. It's not just
Again,
like a wind.
This is getting. I'm already like worried about this movie. It's like you already compared it to Evil Dead tree scene, and then you said it was hands-on, and I'm like,
it's a very tactile film.
That's that whole thing.
If you ever wanted to see mushrooms grow out of a wound on a person's body,
I do want to see that.
Yeah,
okay.
It did remind me somewhat thematically of Mexican Gothic, the Sylvia Moreno Garcia novel. There's a lot of overlapping concepts there. So, anyway, highly recommended if you want a bad time. If you want to feel bad.
Is that macro dosing when mushrooms grow out of your wound?
I don't know.
I'm just
We
curious.
run in different crowds, clearly.
No, I think I was having a conversation with Laundry about this, about some dude that injected mushrooms into his bloodstream.
That seems like a bad idea.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
So is there anything you're looking forward to, MJ, on the horizon?
I do know it's one. I'm looking for. Like I told you guys, I'm a big fan of Know What You Did That Song, but I am waiting for the new Scream movie. I'm very interested to see how the direction they're going to go with that one. I just hope it makes sense. I hope they don't mess up the franchise with that film and just completely just make a complete mockery of the whole franchise by that last film. Other than that, as far as new up-to-date stuff, that's nothing really major that I'm really looking forward to actually seeing in the horror yet. I haven't seen none that really catch my eyes yet. It has to be something that really catches my eyes as far as the horror film, horror genre. I was disappointed. I really wanted to see part 3. I was really excited for it, anxious for Conjuring 3, but I was very disappointed in the Conjuring 3. It just did not go how I expected it would be. It was just like, okay, really? Like, no. It was okay, but it was not what it could have been.
Okay is a really good description of that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have my points of views about it. Like, I guess because I'm biased with it, because I'm a huge fan of it, but it's just, no, like, I can't believe that's the direction they went. It could have been better.
It was really...
I think it should have had more kind of exciting little action in it, like what we need to see, which is too dull to me.
It was a really, 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 really well-produced episode of CSI or Law and Order.
There we go. Right there. That's the words right there.
Yeah.
So, I know that we had a couple of new things drop this week, horror-wise, like at least trailer-wise, that I've seen on Twitter. And I mean, I ranted briefly about Karen, which that movie, that has to be a joke. I can't. But also, what I saw the other trailer for Candyman, and I mean, I want to like it because I really enjoy the first Candyman movie. The other two can fuck right off. But I don't know. I like the concept of having a final boy, and I like the fact that it's Anthony, the baby from, the first Candyman. But since it's like the spiritual sequel, whatever that means, I guess, we've also kind of rewritten Candyman's origin story to make it more modern, and I'm just like, we could have just kept it. We could have just moved forward and just made a sequel to Candyman with Anthony in it. I'm like, that's awesome. There's a story there. There could be all of this trauma that was buried away in his mind that, that he wasn't really aware of because he was a baby when all of this went down. And now I'm just kind of like, well, all right. Whatever, guys. I don't really need it to be a weird remake, spiritual sequel, reimagining.
You got a lot more. What were they thinking coming at you with this one?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna hold out hope. I'm gonna try to be cautiously optimistic because the trailer at least with the silhouettes showing what happens to make Candyman, even though I think the idea is kind of, it's like, oh, he was giving candy to people and that's why he's called Candyman. That's kind of, I'm not down with that. That's kind of dumb. We don't really need to do that. I do like the use of the silhouettes in the trailer, and I'm because that looks creepy, and I'm like, maybe we'll have more things along that line tonally, please. I don't know. I'm really on the fence with it.
But you won't.
I know. Shut up, Lauren.
Cynic
over here.
Coffee is evil.
Who the fuck said that?
That's the movie.
What?
Candyman 2000, well, it was 20, now 21, is a screed against gentrification using Starbucks in particular as an emblem of gentrification.
What? I mean, Starbucks
yes.
doesn't have good coffee, but...
Well, So Cabrini Green has been raised. They've built a Starbucks in his place in the film.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No.
What the fuck? Did I miss that in the trailer?
Watch the teaser again real closely, and there's some explicit shots of coffee hitting the floor. Yeah, it's what the movie is. I promise you. I promise that if you're expecting Candyman as you know it, he's not in the movie.
Like, I know Tony Todd's in the movie somewhere, but not expecting him to be Candyman.
Don't blink. Anyway.
Wow, that was a real downer. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah. You see, what are we looking forward to? Not that. I wanted to take a moment and just spotlight a few channels that if you guys out there watching in the future, because nothing dies on the internet, please go over and subscribe to these channels. But first, I want to say both Shibijibis and Hey, Can We Talk for a Minute are both places to start your quest for new channels and new content if you already are not subscribed. But our friend Jonathan at Bombastic Reviews, if you haven't gone over there, puts up constant streams, lots of great conversations to be had. And Jonathan is just an incredible, wonderful person. Let's give him some support and love. Also, Richard of Are You Into Horror? If you like horror fiction, he's pretty much the best on YouTube for talking about horror fiction, and especially his favorites, which is the 70s and 80s paperback era. Incredibly engaging guy. I did do an episode with Richard forever ago, but every time he uploads something, it's a stop everything to watch for me, and it should be for you guys too. Even if you guys don't think you're a big reader, you'll be shocked about what his passion will do to you. It'll drag you right in. Finally, something a little bit different. This is a band that are kind of just getting started out and could use a little bit of love. So if you like kind of the harder, more industrial-edged hard rock, metal, post-hardcore stuff, the band is Slit. They have you can follow them on Twitter, which will give you a link to their link tree where you can follow everything. Really cool, very forward-thinking music. If you ever thought that Nine Inch Nails or Ministry needed to be a lot heavier and faster, that's pretty much Slit. So I wanted to just scream those guys out and encourage all of you that do have channels. Spread the love, make sure that people know what you're watching too on YouTube, because it matters. It definitely matters. And I turned off the comments to go do that, and it's like 20 appear in a second, so I need a moment to go through.
20 comments?
Yeah. I
mean, what, on this?
Oh, well, there's been a lot more than 20 on the whole stream. Laundry says, I got an offer to go to Baltimore to help gentrify the city, so I have to worry about ghost serial killers now. As long as you don't get stung by a bee, no. Oops, did I tell the other half of the story of the movie? Sorry. Dan is saying they won't come anywhere closer to the original Candyman. I'm not making it up.
What?
If you get stung by a bee from the original hive that stung the Daniel Robenthal to death, you become Candyman. You get possessed. It's a possession story.
If I wasn't streaming on it.
Griffin says, Starbucks needs a new logo. We love our slashers brewed well. I'm not sure if I even understand that, but I love it. And that needs to be on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
The winner of the night. Starbucks, sweets to the sweet.
It's true.
Jonathan saying, thanks, man. Hey, man, no, thank you for all the content. Also, your contributions to S'mores and Doors, obviously, as well. But, S'mores is getting those subscribers off of the Art Bell content, so they don't need the push. But your channel, I want people to stop there and give a few clicks.
We wouldn't have gotten Fisher Stevens balls without you, Jonathan. And Lauren's I'm just going to move on to the next.
Just going to move on.
Yeah.
Jake asks, like early Ministry, how early are we talking? Are we talking about the Wax Trax singles? Or are we talking about With Sympathy? Or are we talking about once they start picking up guitars? And I will say that A Mind is a Terrible Thing to Taste is one of my favorite industrial records, period. I think it is the high point for the band. Twitch obviously has Stigmata on it, which everyone loves, and I do love that track. But it's kind of a one-note album. And after that, I don't consider it early Ministry. You guys like Ministry?
I've never heard them. I know of them.
Never heard of them.
Well, you both have homework.
I'm on it.
There's a song called Thieves, which is I think a great place to start because at that time I remember when all this early industrial stuff we didn't even have a title for it. We didn't know it was industrial rock. It was just it was keyboard oriented but really aggressive, and we didn't know what it was. But bands like Front 242 and early Frontline Assembly and Ministry, and when I heard Thieves, it sounded like someone had recorded like an inner city riot with rock music.
If I wanted that, I'd go back to one of my old apartments.
If you were getting free music at your old apartment and you moved out, the hell's wrong with you?
There was like, dude, I would have neighbors that would like blast the Tejano all the time. Not the same. I mean, it was fine, except when I was working from home. That was a long time ago.
They're both pointing at Griffin and Jacob both pointing out Land of Rape of Honey and Honey. Yeah, I mean, that's the album no one talks about. That's sure, because it wasn't yet. They hadn't really transitioned into full blown rock. They were more of a aggressive new wave band. That band has really, really gone places. I mean, they put out what I would basically consider a speed metal record as their breakthrough album, which is really weird from a band that's first single sounds like, I don't know, early Erasure.
So if I go and listen to this and do a book report on this song by Ministry, can we have karaoke night?
MG, will you join us for karaoke night?
Definitely. You guys got it. That's a deal.
Wow.
Hey, man.
You know how quickly that video has to come down afterwards because it'll be copyright problems on galore. Oh, Piz. Oh, Piz. Oh, Piz. Oh, Piz. What can we say? No one has appreciation for Limp Bizkit.
That comment just makes me want to break stuff.
Oh. Ouch.
I know. I'm sorry.
Biscuit, man. Oh, that seemed like years ago.
And it should have stayed there. Yep. So Jake is saying Land of Rape and Honey is the transition between the early stuff and harder stuff. I see that. I think that Mind is like even more so because that album has a lot of traditional industrial tracks, but it has a harder edge. Ben Grimace is telling me that Limp Bizkit is playing Rocklahoma in September. I'll be sure not to buy a ticket for that. Jonathan is in for a karaoke stream. Maybe we'll do it on his channel.
Hey, I'm down.
Your husband wants to have a little bit of faith.
I just want to watch Golden Boy. If anybody's seen that anime music video.
I'm assuming he means Faith Hill. Griffin says ban Piz for hate speech. No, we don't ban anyone for speech here. Ben Grimm says with Rob Zombie. Oh, so Limp Bizkit and Rob Zombie are playing together?
Ooh, I don't know. I can't do both. No, I mean, I'd go to Rob Zombie, but I wouldn't go to Limp Bizkit, to be honest.
So, Piz, if I was doing anything all for the nookie, I'm clearly doing something wrong. Okay?
Was it for the hot dog flavored water?
I don't eat hot dogs, ever.
That's the best part of the pig.
So, Sam, is there anything final words you have for tonight?
No, I think I covered it with that last comment.
MJ, sell the community on your channel in the next few minutes.
Let's talk for a minute. That's where you guys can find me. I have multiple live streams that's going to be coming up soon. I know I was supposed to have 2 live streams that was supposed to be up actually this month, but I've been having a very busy schedule. So I will have several live streams that basically July will be a busy month with me with live streams. I'm going to focus on bringing a lot of live streams. I have one I want in particular, of course, the Nightmare on Elm Street. Also, I'm going to be coming with one about the Babadook. I think that was a very, very good movie, which goes underrated. But Babadook was a very good movie. I also want to talk about, as far as the whole we talked about earlier in the discussion about the indie films and the Canadian films. I want to talk about those and the impact that they actually have on the horror genre just in general. So just a lot of content is going to be coming as well. And I'm also going to be doing live podcasts as well. So you guys can check that out as well.
Awesome. And I'm terrified, but...
What?
I just wanted to join really quickly and say how angry I am because I was originally scheduled to be the guest tonight, and then MJ came in and stole everything from me.
Well, what happened is priorities had to be made, and there is a scale. How are you tonight, sir?
Also,
are you driving as you're speaking to us?
No, I'm not driving, but I was enjoying the stream and thought I would jump on and tell you how angry I am at MJ.
Oh, at MJ, not at me for making that decision. Okay, that's cool.
The weirdest.
Yeah, MJ, like he barged right in here. So, Piz, will you be going to Rocklahoma to see the Limp Bizkit?
Yeah, I was talking to Fred about it last night actually, and got my tickets ready, and it's just going to be 24/7 nookie.
Oh God, that sounds deadly. That sounds like it should have a warning label for your health on it.
We're going to be breaking stuff, rolling, nookieing, and drinking a lot of hot dog flavored water.
None of that sounds good.
Just watch Chocolate Starfish.
I keep that tucked away.
We all appreciate it.
But yeah, I just anyway, have a good night. It's been a fun stream, and yeah, MJ, we'll have to. You have an open invitation to come on the Region Free.
Okay, thank you.
You too, Sam.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
All right, cool. Guys, have a good night.
Thanks,
Hey.
Piz. That was not planned, I promise.
That was awesome. I love this fucking show, man. We get all sorts of random cool shit happening on here.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of cool stuff on this channel, on Friday we're back, and where we'll be talking for an hour with the great Gary Bronbeck. Gary's a personal hero of mine and many in the horror community, and certainly among a lot of horror writers. His novel, The Indifference of Heaven, was one of those real breakthrough titles that told people that the old guard had to make way, and that the traditional horror novel, while still having a place, wasn't on the vanguard. Gary Bronbeck is an amazingly robust writer. He teacher, mentor, just all around incredible creator. One of those guys I'd love Hollywood to give a call and maybe option some of his work rather than remake another Stephen King film that's already been made 3 times. But that's a different story, and maybe we'll cover that with Gary. So that's on Friday, an hour with one of the greats of our time. And then on Tuesday the 29th, we will be back for the next community show, in which all you crazy characters can get on here and rough it up with us, maybe turn over some tables. As long as you have your cameras on, your mics on before you ask to come on, because I won't let you on unless I see who you are, because we really don't need the wrong kind of drama in this community. Anything you guys have? Anything more?
I haven't had a chance to really watch anything except for those trailers. But hopefully I'm going to have a little video out on the 2 greatest borehole horror movies of all time, Super Deep and The Devil Below. I don't know why that's a thing now, but yeah, whatever.
Awesome. All right, guys, have a great night. We'll talk to you all soon.
If that ends up anywhere else, I'm getting pissed.